The Seversky P-35 was an American fighter aircraft built by the Seversky Aircraft Company in the late 1930s. A contemporary of the Hawker Hurricane and Messerschmitt Bf 109, the P-35 was the first single-seat fighter in United States Army Air Corps to feature all-metal construction, retractable landing gear, and an enclosed cockpit. Design and development. The origins of the P-35 trace back to the Seversky Sev-3 three-seat amphibian, designed by Alexander Kartveli, Seversky's chief designer and Seversky's first aircraft. The Sev-3 first flew in June 1933 and was developed into the Seversky BT-8 basic trainer, 30 of which were ordered by the United States Army Air Corps, USAC, in 1935. This proved grossly underpowered and was quickly replaced by the North American BT-9. The second prototype Sev-3 was completed as a two-seat fighter derivative, the Sev-2XP. It was powered by a 735 HP, 548 kilowatts, Wright R1820 radial engine, had fixed landing gear in aerodynamic spats and was armed with 1.50 in, 12.7 mm, and 1.30 in, 7.62 mm, forward-firing machine guns plus an additional .30 in, 7.62 mm, gun for rear defense. When the USAC announced a competition for a new single-seat fighter in 1935, Seversky sent the Sev-2XP, confident it would win despite being a two-seater. However, the aircraft was damaged on June 18, 1935 during its transit to the fly-offs at Wright Field. To compete with the Curtiss Model 75, a single-seat aircraft with retractable undercarriage, Seversky rebuilt the aircraft into the single-seat Sev-1XP, replacing the Sev-2XP's fixed landing gear with a retractable undercarriage where the main wheels retracted backwards into the wing, and an 850 HP, 634 kilowatts, R1820G5 replacing the F3 of the Sev-2XP. The Sev-1XP was delivered to Wright Field on August 15 for evaluation, which was generally successful, although the Cyclone failed to deliver its rated power and the Sev-1XP only reached 289 miles per hour, 465 kilometers per hour, rather than the 300 miles per hour, 483 kilometers per hour, predicted by Seversky. Protests from Curtiss led to the formal flyoff between the fighters to be delayed until April 1936. The delay was used by both Seversky and Curtiss to improve their aircraft, while allowing additional fighters from Vought, the Vought V141, and consolidated with a single-seat version of the PB-2. The Sev-1XP was re-engined again, with the two-row Pratt & Whitney R1839 twin Wasp replacing the Cyclone and a modified vertical stabilizer fitted, becoming the Sev-7. The PNW also failed to deliver its rated power. It put out only 738 HP and top speed was again well below 300 miles per hour. While more expensive than the Curtiss and Vought designs, the Seversky was a clear winner of the Air Corps' competition, with an order for 77 P-35 fighters and spare parts equivalent to 8 airplanes being placed on June 16, 1936 at a cost of $1,636,250. Modifications from Sev-1XP to production P-35 standard included partial instead of complete main wheel fairings and 7 degrees of dihedral to the outer wing panels. The first production P-35 was delivered to the USAC in May 1937, preceded by a company-owned pre-production aircraft and demonstrator, the AP-1. Only 76 P-35s were built, delivery being completed in August 1938, with the 77th aircraft finished as the prototype XP-41. When it wanted further fighters in 1937, the Air Corps, who were unhappy with both the slow delivery of the P-35, and sale of 2 PA-2-seat aircraft to the Japanese Navy, ordered 210 Curtiss P-36s. Seversky continued to develop the design with the hope of selling more aircraft both to the Air Corps and to civil and export customers. It modified the prototype Sev-1XP as a single-seat racer, the S-1 entering it into the 1937 Bendix Trophy, where it finished in 4th place. The competition was won by the S-2, registration number NR70Y, a similar aircraft built for Frank Fuller of the Fuller Paint Company. S2 also won the Bendix Trophy in 1939 and placed second in 1938. The aircraft was used to portray the Drake bullet in the 1938 film Test Pilot. Another civil aircraft was the DS, or Doolittle Special, a single-seater for James Doolittle, employed at the time by the Shell Oil Company, while the AP-7 was another racer, powered by a 1,200 HP, 895 kilowatts, R1830 engine and used by Jacqueline Cochran to win the 1938 Bendix Trophy race and to set a women's airspeed record. Seversky entered two aircraft based on the P-35 in a 1938 competition for a new fighter for the Air Corps. One was the XP-41, which had the company designation AP-4D, which was AP-35 with a 1,200 HP, 895 kilowatts, R1839 engine fitted with a two-stage supercharger, and the AP-4, which had a turbo supercharger mounted in the belly of a deeper fuselage. The Air Corps preferred the AP-4D, which was ordered into production as the P-43 Lancer. Aiming to increase sales, Alexander P. de Seversky personally took a demonstrator on a tour of Europe in early 1939. As a result of this demonstration, Sweden ordered 15 EP-106 fighters on June 29, 1939, a development of the P-35 powered by a 1,050 HP, 783 kilowatts, R1830-45, which improved performance by over 25 miles per hour, 40 kilometers per hour, and armed with two 7.9 mm, .311 in, machine guns in the cowl and two 13.2 mm, .52 in, machine guns in the wings. A second order for 45 EP-106s was placed on October 11, 1939, with the third order for 60 aircraft, placed on January 6, 1940, although by this time Seversky had been thrown out of the company bearing his name by the board of directors, with the company renaming itself Republic Aviation. The Swedish Air Force designated them J9. Nonetheless, despite its obsolescence as a fighter design, the P-35 design served as the inspiration for the promising Italian Reggianieri 2000 Falco fighter, which bears a superficial similarity in layout. Two-seat versions 2PA and A8V. Seversky also built a two-seater. The 2PA evolved in parallel with the P-35. The 2PA was a two-seat fighter and fighter-bomber with a fundamentally similar airframe and offered with either a similar undercarriage to that of the single-seater as the 2PAL, land, or with an amphibious float undercarriage as the 2PAA, amphibian. Dubbed convoy fighter by the manufacturer, the 2PA was powered by a Wright R1820 G2 or G3 Cyclone 9-cylinder radial engine, the former rated at 1000 HP for takeoff and the latter at 875 HP. Armament comprised two wing-mounted 7.62 mm or 12.7 mm Browning guns, one 7.62 mm Browning on a flexible mount in the rear cockpit, plus two forward-firing fuselage-mounted 7.62 mm or 12.7 mm Browning guns. Provision was made for a bomb load of up to 227 kilograms, 500 pounds, on internal wing racks. One 2PAA and one 2PAL were procured by the Soviet Union in March 1938, one with conventional landing gear and one with floats, along with the manufacturing license, but it appears that the Soviets never put it into production. In what proved to be an unpopular move for Seversky, 22 PAB-3s were sold to the Japanese Navy, which briefly employed them in the Second Sino-Japanese War as Navy-type S-2-seat fighter or A-8V1, Allied code name Dick. The Japanese were unimpressed with the aircraft and eventually relegated two of them to the Asahi Shimbun newspaper as hacks. Sweden ordered 52 2PAS, Swedish designation B6, able to carry 1,350 pounds, 612 kilograms, of bombs, but received only two prior to the U.S. embargo directed to combatants. The remaining 50 were appropriated by the USAC, rearmed with 0.30 in and 0.50 in machine guns, and used as advanced trainers named at 12 Guardsmen. Operational history. USAC. The first P-35s were delivered to the 1st Pursuit Group, 27th, 71st, and 94th PS, stationed at Selfridge Field in Michigan. The aircraft utilized a wet wing to save weight, and ground personnel quickly learned about the persistent fuel leaks. The P-35's performance was poor even by contemporary standards, and, although USAC aviators appreciated the aircraft's ruggedness, it was already obsolete by the time deliveries were finished in 1938. On June 18, 1940, United States declared an embargo against exporting weapons to any nation other than the United Kingdom. Optimistically, Republic continued to manufacture EP-106s which, by the October 24, 1940 order, 60 were taken over by the USAC as the P-35A. The aircraft were rearmed to American standards with a pair of 0.50 in machine guns that fired through the propeller, but retained the Swedish specification of a 0.30 in machine gun mounted in each wing. Flight instruments were metric, and both their labeling and flight manuals written in Swedish. Of these, 3 aircraft were kept in United States as instructional airframes for mechanics. 6 P-35s were delivered to Ecuador to form the first combat unit, the Escuadrilla de Caza. The remainder were sent to the Far East Air Force in the Philippines beginning in February 1941. Eventually all pilots of the 3 pursuit squadrons on Luzon transitioned to the P-35A from the P-26. About 10 of these were lost in accidents. The P-35s were used primarily as gunnery trainers by all 3 squadrons because of a critical shortage of .50 caliber ammunition in the Far East Air Force, placing a strain on the engines of all the aircraft since no replacement engines were available. In October 1941, the P-35s were earmarked for transfer to the Philippine Army Air Corps after sufficient Curtiss P-40 Warhawks were received by the FEAF. In November 1941, after the 3rd and 17th PS received new P-40E aircraft, most of their P-35s were passed to 2 newly arrived squadrons attached to the group, the 21st and 34th PS, with the latter receiving most. The 21st PS received its P-40Es on the eve of war and transferred its few P-35s to the 34th Pursuit Squadron, which then had nearly a full squadron. It then fought with them in the feudal defense of the islands in December 1941, initially at Del Carmen Airfield. They were hopelessly outclassed by the Japanese fighters. Lack of armor and self-sealing fuel tanks made the aircraft extremely vulnerable. 12 P-35s were destroyed and 6 damaged by a Japanese strafing attack on Del Carmen Airfield on December 10, and by December 12, 1941, only 8 P-35s were still in flying condition. However, also on December 10, 1941, a P-35A of the 34th Pursuit Squadron piloted by First Lieutenant Samuel H. Merritt is credited with the sinking of Japanese minesweeper W-10 during the Japanese invasion of Vigan in northern Luzon. Merritt made multiple strafing runs against W-10, until the ship blew up. The explosion was so powerful it tore the wing off of Merritt's P-35, causing him to crash into the sea. In January 1942, 5 surviving P-35s attempted to fly to Bataan from Lubao Airfield, but 2 were shot down as they attempted to land, and a third was destroyed in place when no volunteer could be found to fly it. The 2 remaining P-35s transported several unit personnel to Mindanao in their baggage compartments. On April 4, they returned briefly to Bataan to evacuate other personnel, and 1 was lost crash landing on Cebu on April 10. The sole surviving P-35 was turned over to Captain Ramon Zosa of the PAAC on April 30, and flew its last sortie out of Del Monte Airfield, accompanying a P-40 on a strafing attack of Japanese landings at Macajular Bay on May 3, 1942. Sweden. The Swedish Air Force received 60 J-9s in the spring-summer 1940. The aircraft were operated alongside other units assigned to the F-8 Air Force Base protecting Stockholm, replacing the obsolete Gloucester Gladiators. Swedish J-9s served with Flygvapnet as a fighter until 1946. Later, 10 aircraft were equipped with cameras but retained their J-9 fighter designation and, in addition, a number of others were used for liaison and general flight training. The last 7 J-9 aircraft remained in service until September 1952. Variants: AP-1. AP-35 fitted with a Pratt & Whitney R1830 engine. AP-2. From Sev-1 XP. AP-7. Racer for Jacqueline Cochran. AP-9. Fighter trials aircraft developed in parallel to the AP-7. BT-8. 30 production basic trainers for the USAC. P-35. First production version, Pratt & Whitney R1839 engine with 850 HP, 634 kilowatts. EP-1 export version of the P-35. P-35 AAAF designation for appropriated EP-106 originally contracted to Sweden, Pratt & Whitney R1830-45 radial piston engine with 1050 HP, 783 kilowatts, and increased armament. EP-106 single-seat fighter version for Sweden. J9 Swedish designation of the EP-1/P-35A. 2PA. Two-seat version with rear gunner. 2PA-202 European demonstrator. 2PAA for USSR, Spain. 2PAB European demonstrator. 2PA-BX European demonstrator. 2PA-B320 production aircraft for Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service as Seversky A8V1. 2PA-L to USSR, Spain. A8V1 Dick 2-seat 2PA used by the Japanese Navy. B6 Swedish designation of the 2PA. At 12 Guardsman 2-seat advanced trainer. NF1. Version of the P-35 for United States Navy Evaluation Company designation. Sev-1 XP. Single-seat fighter prototype, aka Sev S1. Sev-2 XP. Two-seat fighter prototype. Sev-DS. For Shell Oil Company / James Doolittle. Sev-XBT. Two-seat basic trainer. Sev-7. Single-seat fighter prototype, fitted with a Pratt & Whitney R1839 twin Wasp radial piston engine. The aircraft was later redesignated AP-1. Operators: Colombia. Colombian Air Force operated 3 Seversky P-35-2 PA-L, Sev-3 MWW. Ecuador. Ecuadorian Air Force. Japan. Imperial Japanese Navy Air Service. Philippines. Philippine Army Air Corps. Sweden. Swedish Air Force. United States. United States Army Air Corps. Survivors. At 12, USAF serial No. 41 to 17529, construction No. 483 to 38. One of those which didn't make it to Sweden, restored to flying condition at the Planes of Fame Air Museum at Chino Airport, California, registered as NX55539. J9/P-35A. Exhibited in the Swedish Air Force Museum. J9/P-35A. Exhibited in the Kermit Weeks Fantasy of Flight in Florida, presently undergoing restoration to flying condition. P-35, USAC serial No. 36 to 404, displayed as P-35A-17, 4MP. On display at the National Museum of the United States Air Force. Recently plans were announced for the manufacture of a new production, full-scale replica J9/P-35A from Vintage Component Specialties. Specifications: P-35A. General characteristics. Crew: 1. Length: 26 feet 10 in, 8.17 m. Wingspan: 36 feet 0 in, 10.97 m. Height: 9 feet 9 in, 2.97 m. Wing area: 220 feet superscript 2, 20.43 square meters. Empty weight: 4,575 pounds, 2,075 kilograms. Loaded weight: 6,118 pounds, 2,775 kilograms. Max takeoff weight: 6,723 pounds, 3,050 kilograms. Power plant: 1 times Pratt & Whitney R1830-45 twin wasp radial engine, 1050 HP, 783 kilowatts. Performance. Maximum speed, 290 miles per hour, 252 knots, 467 kilometers per hour, at 12,000 feet, 3,660 m. Cruise speed, 260 miles per hour, 226 knots, 418 kilometers per hour. Range, 950 miles, 826 nmi, 1,530 kilometers. Service ceiling, 31,400 feet, 9,570 m. Rate of climb, 1,920 feet/min, 9.8 m/s. Wing loading, 27.8 lb/foot superscript 2, 135.8 kg/m superscript 2. Power/mass, 0.172 hp/lb, 0.282 kW/kg. Armament. Guns, 2x 0.30 in M1919 Browning machine guns, 2x 0.50 in Browning M2/in machine guns. Bombs, up to 350 pounds, 160 kilograms, of bombs. Roll fighter. National origin United States. Manufacturer Seversky. First flight August 15, 1935. Introduction 1937. Retired September 1952, Sweden. Primary users United States Army Air Corps. Swedish Air Force. Number built 196, Inc. Export. Unit cost $22,500 Developed from Seversky Sev 3. Variants P43 Lancer.
Please subscribe and thanks for watching.